Hello everybody, this is my first little Blender tutorial for this channel, so I thought, why not make a tutorial? Because a friend asked me, how do I make environments in like custom outdoor scenes, so I thought I'd turn it into like a tutorial in Blender 4.0 or 4.02, just because it's the newest version and it's what I use. But let's get started. So first thing I like doing is I like grabbing a subject. All right. I always like importing a reference character, because it helps me keep the scale of things and whatnot. So I like to import characters to like at least reference if it's a character I'm actually using for the scene, or let's say for this example, I'm using this dummy character because it helps me get the scale of things, so I don't have to, I get all the sizes of things right. First step I like doing is create a plane and scaling it up to, say, there. Don't have to do too big. Now, if you want to keep it flat, you can. I like subdividing, so if you want to add some detail, make it like 25. Now we're gonna go into sculpt mode. Just gonna, you can create kind of a shape here. I like turning on wireframe, so I can kind of see how things are moving. I want to like kind of add some, detail. Maybe you want to add like a river, whatever. It helps to kind of sculpt things out. Actually reducing the brush strength. So let's just start with something like that. Auto smooth. We can turn off our wireframe. After this is kind of where it varies depending on where you're gonna want to get your assets. If you have Blender Kit, you can use that. Like search tree, recreate the file. But anyway, this time we saved, so we don't crash because we don't worry. So back to where we were. Actually make it a little bigger than that. So S. Oops, I'm gonna turn on that. Oh, there we go. Okay. So scale this by like 5. Do 4. Scale. Y is up here. Now subdivided, so I can go into sculpt mode again. Turn on wireframe, and just sculpt out the terrain in a certain way. Not too flat. Very smooth. Save again. So okay, well, I don't know why it's working. So yeah, you can use Blender Kit if it works. You can get stuff from websites, Polyhaven, other online resource stuff. For me, I like the Botanic add-on, which is like what I always use. So look for the type of trees you want. I'm gonna pick one of these. Now, if you want to make them editable, you can, but they have like better performance. If you don't, just import. So I'm gonna import a bunch of random trees. We have like a few different trees here, like 4 different ones. Grab another one here. So we'll add in. We have 5 trees here. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to select the ground, and we're going to go spawn grass or grass. I just do basic, that's all I really need. Now that we have that, we're not going to use this built-in system because I think it works better with geometry nodes. So I'm gonna split out a window here, and on the ground, what we're gonna do is we're going to go geometry nodes, new thing. We'll go trees and grass. Now you can always separate these into different like collections or instances. I just use the same one. So we're gonna search for a distribute points on faces. We're gonna add an instance on points. First, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna right click this or shift, control shift, click. So we preview it. We're gonna change it to Poisson disk, I think is how it's said. Turn it down to 1. For this, so this first one, what we'll do is we'll do the grass. We can always have like a higher density here. You want pick instance, and then we're gonna grab this grass collection, drag it in, attach it to instance, separate children, reset. And now we can get rid of the viewer. We have grass, and we can change the seed, we can change the density, or dense. Like 5. Then what we will do is we will duplicate these two, drag it down, add this into here, and then grab the tree collection. We want to lower this. We don't want to try. Put this into here, and put that there. There we go. Now what we can do is we just kind of preview this at the moment, and it's going to do a lot. But what we want to do is we want to scale it all down. Okay, certain trees are way bigger. We'll lower the density even more. Bad. Lower it, let's say, even more. You could always do the density factor. Let's see if you want to do that. Actually, something that could always work is bringing up this and then bringing down the distance, so they don't, like, there's at least some space between them, right? All right, we have one issue here, which is one of these trees is really big. I think it's this one. Do is scale it down. That might not work. It's like an instance, and that's why the editable function usually works. I can scale it down like that. Okay. I think so. Disable the collection now. And now to mix the grass and the thing in. Now, obviously, the ground's missing, but we go join geometry. That's with Shift A right here. Connect that to there, that to there. Connect this one into here also, because you can connect multiple inputs, and then into there. Now, trees are kind of a bit big, and we'll select our subject so we can kind of get an idea. I'll put him on the ground at least. Actually, those trees aren't. They look a little small, maybe. Let's go 0.5. So they're a little bigger, or 0.75. There you go. That feels a little more accurate. But what we also want to do is we want to add a random value. Go to max. Let's say we go a max of 1 and a minimum of 0.65. Plug that to scale. And now we can kind of change the size of things. You could even, let's make this 1.2, the maximum a little bigger. We're going to duplicate this one with a shift, with selecting this one, Shift D. Change this to vector into rotation. And what it's going to do is it's going to make them all kind of go in wonky directions. We don't want that. So we want to get rid of the X and Y. Now, it doesn't say, but it's X, Y, Z in the normal order. And now, while we're here, we just can change seed here too for our rotation. And it doesn't have to be like a perfect 360. You just can kind of increase this until you get like enough variation. You know, and then just change the seed value. You could even kind of also like add like a little bit of like rotation here, because not all trees will be like perfectly, you know, you can even add like a negative value. Perfectly straight. Control C, Control E that. Maybe even like lower it so it's not too strong. Just so they have like a little bit of like tilt and stuff. And what we can do here, add Shift A or select, like box select these, Control J. And then add a name to the frame, I think. Yep. Grass. And you can paste that to there. Give it a color. Like that. Control J. Call this tree. Trees. Color. Make it like, say, a brown. Or like the wood. And we can even copy these nodes and then Alt-P to remove, put them into here, and then connect these up to here. So they kind of also apply to the grass. So we get kind of some variation there. Not everything is super like uniform. The grass, you can even go maybe a little bit bigger. So like a 2, and then let's say 0.8 or something, or 1.5, you know, just something to kind of give some variation. And to be honest, this is already like pretty good. Like you can definitely use this, but I found that I want to hide unnecessary systems. I'm gonna go back into Botanic, and we're gonna go where are we here? Flowers. This is just something I like to use because I find it adds more variation to the ground instead of it making it feel so like empty in a way. We're just gonna grab like a bunch of flowers, a bunch of kinds, whatnot. Some orange ones. Spawn all those in. And now we're gonna select the ground again, and we're gonna select this, drag this in. We're just gonna copy this node tree, drag it down, but we're gonna replace this with the instance, like the new collection, and we'll call this frame flowers, and then we'll make it like purple or something. After that, select our geometry input, select this, put it into mesh, and then select this into geometry, and we're gonna get kind of like a crazy result here. It's kind of really big. Don't be worried, you can always just disable this. You save, and lots too. You can remove the other ones just for now, so you can get kind of the one that you need done first. Just one, let's say, separate children. Yeah, so this is kind of crazy. It'll bring down the max size. Might even go a little lower, like 0.6 to 0.2, let's say. So they're kind of a little more scattered. And now we can connect this up here. And I'm doing this with holding down Alt and right clicking with Node Wrangler. That's the add-on. Now we kind of have nice flowers. We can hide that also. Maybe we can actually turn up the density. They're just a little like scarce. Up the density. Let's see. Change seed value. And we're getting a lot of this tall flower. What I'd honestly like to do is grab 2 of these, scale them down a little. You might even put these in like a different collection, because that would be very useful. Instead, we're going to put it in that collection, because these flowers, we have like the size difference is a little too much. So I'll go like a 1. So these flowers are a little more noticeable. That range. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of duplicate this again. Put this down. Delete that collection. Grab this one. Separate children. And reset children. So you want to select both those. Instance. Got this one. Put it into here. And then did I break something? Oh, I forgot to put the mesh on there. That's this into here. And then we're gonna get crazy sizes, but 0.5, 0.2. Bring down the density a lot. Not that much. That. Maybe just bring it down a little more. So 0.1 to 0.25. Increase the density a little. Now we can hide that collection. So now we got kind of a nice ground terrain going on. Red flowers. And then make that red. You can go on, add some rocks too. These ones are kind of like, how do I say? They're a little like clean, you know? And in a forest, you'd probably have a little more moss. So this is why I like using Quixel Bridge. Quixel Bridge is free to use, and you just have to install Unreal Engine and then load up Quixel Bridge in Unreal Engine. And then with that Epic Games account, you can open up into Quixel Bridge and use it on other programs. So I have some rocks here. I got some like forest boulders you can export. I'm just going to start with one because I don't want to have to go through and put a bunch of other ones. But you also get rid of that. Some of the rocks are like giant in scale, but if you their parent transform, get rid of that. Apply the transform. And now we're going to go back to here. And we're going to grab all these, drag them down again. Call this rocks. And then instead of a collection info, we're just going to use the direct object as instance. And then apply it here. A lot of times these get kind of ridiculous in size when it comes to the node trees, but and I know this is where a lot of people get confused, but the best way is just break it out into little like groups. It makes it easier to manage. So we can disable. Okay, let's put this in a collection then. I'll call this rocks. Disable it because it still stays in the geonodes if it's in like a disable collection. It's kind of where you can just kind of play with seeding again, density, stuff like that. Now let's say we want to put the trees in like a specific spot. They're kind of just everywhere right now. Do is hide this for now. And we'll find the tree collection here. We'll grab this, put it into density factor. Now this is just going to let you control the nodes out here, but you want to select this on the plane, go to data, the object properties, call this tree group, and now we're going to go into weight paint mode, and we're just going to kind of paint certain areas. Now this only works if you have, like, let's say a bunch of geometry and you subdivided it. If you don't, you'd have to subdivide to do this painting. Now, I'm gonna go back to the modifiers. Go. Enable. There you go. Tree. And now that's on the tree density factor. It's not too noticeable because the trees are so big and they're like colliding at the top. But now you can kind of see where we painted is where the trees are at. They're not at the middle of this area. So if you want to make kind of an opening, a forest, you could do that. You could do that with the grass. You could do that with other stuff. Let's say you can also add more assets from Quick's Bridge, which is like the like some branches, some big logs, other stuff just to kind of spice up the forest ground. Now we have this done, but we want to do our lighting, and we're gonna do it in cycles just because cycles give the best results. We have all these connected, but no ground, and that's kind of what's causing this. And you want to connect the geometry output and connect it to the join geometry. Now we have the ground, and there's no like hole there. Now for like people who just use like normal Blender, I'm gonna go to the shader editor and then go to world. And then in the background, we're gonna go sky texture. You can use an HDRI, you can use this. I just find this kind of gives a little more control. You can kind of see we're getting some, it's a little hard at the top because a lot of these trees are so like blocking the sun. You kind of get some light here. It's always good to bring down the strength, maybe like that much, but I like this to make it like a really sunny day. I find upping light paths also helps. A little more like better light bounces. And after that, let's see. Let's say we go to the trees because we're not getting enough light through. We can go to the tree collection and scale these down. Let's say reduce the minimum. So we get kind of a little more like opening at the top here. Have more room. Again, you can change the seed value. You can change the seed value here, the position of the trees. You get different kind of layouts to the, let's say, the way you want. You can also, let's say, we have all this like dead grass, right? We could always go to particle systems, and we kind of just look at the grass like one by one. So that's I have some of the dead grass right now. You can also just isolate them. So like this is some dead grass. That's some dead grass. You can delete the ones you don't want. Sorry, my phone went off. But we could just kind of get rid of them on like the dry grass and not the green grass. You can come back up here and you can see it's a lot more like lush and healthy with a little bit of like dry, but not too much. After that, I'd say this is pretty good. Like if you want, you could use this as is. I like using the physical starlight and atmosphere because I feel like it just works. So we'll call this like default Blender world. Delete that, and we'll call this PSA. Enable this checkbox, and now we can kind of just play around with the values. You can't change them here, but you have them all here. You can also use it in the side panel. There we go. And you can tweak the sun here, or you can just rotate the actual sun object. I find the sun object itself is a little like easier to control. Because it places it higher up. You can reset the location, so it's like right down with your subject, because the position of the sun does not matter. It's just the rotation. Then we can kind of just, you know, tweak where we want the sun to be. Let's say if you want more of an overcast day, you can change it there. Really crank it, get like super overcast. You can do math functions in Blender. So star means multiple. You can multiply the strength by 5, or you can, let's say 25. Maybe we get some. Okay, well that's not what I expected. Anyway, reset to default value. Let's go 25 maybe, and then I think that's it for that. Oh, a little too much. You know, again, it's just kind of messing with the colors here. We'll go back to 1.2 intensity. Okay, that's okay. Stick to like a 1 or, well, 2. Okay. You know, just tweak your settings here. Now, if you want some God rays in the scene, I recommend doing it this way, which is also, you can select everything here. Hide for now, because you don't need to see it. Go to Shift A, Mesh, Cube. Scale this cube up to fit the scene. Maybe a little bigger, so there's a little bit of room. Call this fog. Again, fog, or mist, or whatever you want to call it. We will. I have my own workspace, but you can go to the shading tab, or you could split the windows. Go principled volume, and then plug that into here. And it's gonna be really thick. So this is where you want to lower the density a little bit. And it's not gonna be perfect like in the preview, like Eevee. You have to kind of go into cycles here. Enable your trees and stuff. Find subject. Hello. There you go. Okay. So yeah, you can kind of see some fog now. We will want the volume. Maybe lower a little more. You can tweak different values here. I find raising the anisotropy helps a little bit, but it's more just like you'll play around with it until you like what you get. You can make it a little cooler. Maybe you want some warmer kind of like fog, or like volumetrics. I wouldn't recommend going too hard on this, because like especially with colors, because it makes it kind of a little too crazy. Now let's say we use it a little more. Let's say 0.5 or 0.05. It's not bad. Maybe we will even just increase the tree density a little more. Nodes, trees. Maybe we'll reduce like the distance between them, so like we can have a little more trees. And we kind of got something a little interesting here. Kind of like this small patch of you know, light here. And you could do the same thing where you can add, want to also put here into the select the group, and then in the interface, the group here, name this. So like tree density. So at least you know this one. This. You could do the same for the grass, the flowers, if you want specific places for certain things with painting. And because let's say you want to have this place be the main source of the light, you could tell a story where this is the only place the grass grows, so you can have like a lot less grass in different places. Because you can also, under here, Shift A, math node, plug this into here, multiply. Now it lets you add more trees to the area that is still following the density part. Yeah, that, but maybe. But yeah, so let's say if you want more trees, less trees in that specific area, you can do that. You can do like I'll give an example of like let's say flowers. So we'll grab a new input, and a lot of times you can just no, it doesn't have the new pop-up. Okay, just add a reroute and then plug this into here, and then it lets you kind of drag it anywhere you want. We'll plug this into flowers, red flowers. So those are like the two that this is controlling. This is a color, which is not what we want. We want that. We'll add a new group called flowers group, and I recommend naming so you can keep track of things. Flowers group. Select your plane. Now I can also just hide grass so it's not in the way, and you can also hide like let's say the rocks. So hide that. We can go into weight paint mode, and then you can kind of paint specific areas you want flowers. This kind of helps to have like your rendered view on. Weird. Oh, because we changed the density of the trees. That's right. And again, you're not always going to get like a perfect paint because sometimes you need to subdivide again. So you get more precision, you know, because it all depends on the detail of the mesh. But weight paint, and what you can even do is you can have like two viewports here. Have one to view the position of, and the other one to paint. I'm going to wait and then reduce it. We can kind of just, let's say, focus in this one area. And up the weight a little more. In this area. So let's say like that. That's what we want. I don't like kind of this specific area to have flowers. Go back to geometry nodes, and we can join these back up. And then same thing like this is grab this. I think I'm gonna call it a float. Yeah. Call this grab a math texture or math node. Multiply. And now we can kind of just change the density of the flowers in that area. Maybe you already have it kind of maxed, so then you'd want to go into here and also increase the density. Then you get kind of more flowers in that area. We will grab a camera to kind of put the viewport here. We can figure out where the camera is. In his body, but move it back a little. And maybe what you could do is you could change the resolution, like to be vertical or square, whatever you want. And then, you know, you kind of have a scene like this, but maybe I'd like to rotate the light to be on his other side here. Move it up a little more. And again, this is going to just obviously take a lot of tweaking. It still go this way. That gives kind of the best like thing for now. And again, too, you can, let's say, go into your weight paint mode. Grab weight of 0. Let's say paint less here. We get kind of push the flowers back a little bit and kind of clean this up. You can kind of see getting less flowers there, more in the sunlight. And one thing with this background is a lot of times like you kind of have this issue where you have a forever kind of background going, and obviously you could turn on your depth of field, you can select an object, lower your f-stops, but you're still going to kind of have this issue of like you're just kind of looking permanently into the distance, and that does kind of cause issues. This is where, like, you know, obviously sculpting could help. If, let's say, oh, also, I always forget, change the viewport display of your fog cube to bounds so it doesn't get in the way. Now what we're just going to do is we're going to go into edit mode, select proportional editing, and now we can kind of like move parts of model in like a big kind of thing here. So you could obviously like turn this into a big hill to block out the background, something like that. If not, you could also, this is a little trick that I like using, which is to grab another plane, Shift A, plane, bring it to the background. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new geometry nodes thing to it. We're going to geometry nodes. I want to select this main one here. I'm going to copy the tree collection. Go to this other plane here. Paste it. Don't need the multiply node. Put that in there. Put that in there. Oops. Right. Put that in there. And now we should have latitude. Nodes. Oh, maybe it's because the size of the plane. So we'll reduce that. Also, see here. Oh, interesting. That's... Oh, because I flipped the scale. Okay. So, if you ever have this issue, like in scaling an object mode and you're not having many trees, you have to scale it in edit mode. So, this will scale the whole thing, and then scaling it in edit mode actually like spreads it, like distributes it. So we're just gonna kind of scale this down a bunch. And now, select the main right now, hide that. Now you can kind of see, okay, the camera's looking in this direction. This would be the background. And so we can put a bunch of trees there, and then this here. And now you kind of, you know, have some trees in the background. This is the background trees. Kind of reduce density, too much, obviously. You can even bring it a little closer, let's say. And like try to, because what this kind of does is it creates, like, let's say this hill goes up here and then drops down. And I'll disable the depth of field, but it kind of gives like a vibe like it goes up and then down. So like there's kind of like something else on the other side. And it doesn't feel like super, like you're just kind of looking at the sky. It kind of fits a little better. Turn on our field again. And also, best thing to do, turn on viewport display, pass part out, whatever. Like it just removes, this is what removes the view around the camera. And you want to turn this all the way up to 1. You don't want to see outside, so you can only focus on what's in the camera. You could even sometimes, you know, let's say you go in here and it's fine as it is, kind of like doing that. But maybe you want to add a little more like lighting, maybe stylize it. You can make a really big light, then kind of like place it around, kind of. What we're going to do is we're going to do Alt-E. We make a copied instance. And what we're doing here is we're kind of just like emphasizing or adding some light to the environment. And you can obviously tint it a certain color. Like let's say a blue, because like the sky is blue and that influences the light. Maybe not that bright. But now it feels a little more like full, where the background isn't like pitch black. If I go like this, we got a pitch black background, and we open up the lights. You kind of get at least like some sense of like, you can always increase this and then bring it to the brightness, because as the light gets bigger, you have to compensate with the power. But at least now it feels like a little more, like it doesn't feel so dark. Like there feels like some kind of light bounces where the sun is hitting here and then up the sun maybe. So it's a lot stronger. I think this, the better way to do it here. And let's say multiply that by 2. And I think that would be like the proper way to do it. This add-on. And again, too, you could do this similarly with the sky texture. You know, so you can do this, and then we obviously still have the starlight sun, but you can hide that. You can go sun elevation to 90 degrees. Lower it a little bit. And then kind of rotate it. It's a little difficult with this because there's no like object to guide you. But you can kind of get the idea. Like, you know, you place your sun where you want it to be. Air quality. I wouldn't recommend bringing that down. You can bring the dust down, but ozone up, and then let's say altitude, you could bring it up a little more. Kind of get like a similar result. Obviously, the add-on gives you more like control, but we'll make more, reduce the elevation so we get more of a curve, or like so it's more focused in this area. And yeah, so that's how I would make kind of like a little forest scene. Geonodes is going to be your best friend for this. Always make sure to break it down into pieces, so then you can make things easy to control. You could even like make an actual generator by connecting these all up and getting the control all through this. But if I'm just doing something one like once and I'm not worrying too much about it, I'll just like do it like that and work on the nodes. But yeah, just a little bit, add some more lighting, environment. Again, this is something just about any kind of creative process is you will always have to like tweak here and there and make little changes, and like, you know, everything can always be improved. You know, nothing is perfectly like solidified when it comes to things. Like I could be working on this for like hours at a time and just to get the right result. But yeah, so you got a subject and a field. We're gonna use the Starlight version to render this. Oh, that's right. That, and yeah, that's your forest scene.